And the collection never came out and I never got paid.
No.
Any like cold pitch that I do, if it involves them like clicking a link and having to go to it, I don't know. They just like don't want to have to do that. Laying out like a small PDF that's like a deck, giving them like examples.
And you've also worked with really big brands. Billabong, you've worked with Free People.
How can we help people? How can we get everyone to do this? Because this is the best life.
Yeah.
Literally.
I want it
You
for
do.
everybody.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Creative Rise Podcast. So glad you are here today. We've got an awesome episode. If you are wanting to work with brands, you're wanting to be a photographer, maybe a filmmaker, maybe a model, maybe a content creator, maybe an influencer, maybe doing some UGC, well, then you are just like today's guest. If you want to do a lot of things and learn how to do them well, Taylor Hayden is the person you want to watch.
The queen of this.
Because she's doing all of it really,
Yes.
really well. Taylor is awesome. This episode is awesome. So good. We're so pumped about it.
Yeah, Joey and I just came back from 2 days in Southern California where we took all of our gear, flew down to Southern California, and interviewed 3 creatives in all different spheres who are doing incredible things. And the reason we did that is because we want to pull back the curtain on what these guys are doing and how they're doing it so well so that you can learn from that too. So today's episode, we've got Taylor Hayden, has become a great friend of ours. We've actually have worked with her on a bunch of different campaigns as her as a model, and we have been able to get to know her and her business, and it is absolutely inspiring.
And her husband, Noah. Shout out Noah.
Shout out Noah.
Yeah.
Shout out her daughter, Selah.
Yeah.
This episode, we are going to cover everything from pricing, literally what she charges brands, just like Billabong, Free People, what she charges for UGC, what she does for photography. We talk about offers, how to actually be a multifaceted creator and be able to sell that to brands and position yourself to different brands. We also talk about her being a mom, entering that phase of life. So if you're a parent, you're also going to love this episode. She's got some good tidbits in there. So this is going to be a really, really inspiring episode for a lot of different
If you want to
people.
learn about pitching, we also did talk quite a bit about pitching, which
Yeah, we
is
did.
really, really cool because that seems to be a hot topic for a lot of people right now. So you're going to love that about this episode. And if you're new here to Creative Rise, well, welcome. My name is Joey. This is
I'm
Christy. And Christy, you started a wedding photography business in 2015 and ended up traveling all over the world shooting weddings. Then you got into shooting brands full time. Now you're doing a hybrid. And I started a content agency in 2014, helping businesses basically go digital at the time with photo, video, and then ended up doing a lot of brand strategy. And that's still what we do to this day.
Yeah.
And this podcast is just an example of the things that we are learning and people we're coming across and working with and bringing that to you. Hopefully that you can then take lessons and wins from our own journey and build it into your own career so you can skip some of the stuff that we might have done wrong and also just enjoy it, because when you learn the business side of the business, you get to build a better business, which is really fun. So we're so glad you're here. If you're also really interested in pitching, last 2 weeks we've done 2 pitching podcasts specifically teaching about what pitches are working in 2026. So if that's you, go back and listen to those. If you've already listened to those, don't forget we just dropped the brand new pitching masterclass for the first time in 6 years. We've made that public to people. So you can now literally take the word for word pitches that Christy and I build and send off to companies that get yeses, and you can install that into your own pitches. So you're going to get the pitching course, you're going to get the pitching scripts, the actual templates for all of our pitches. And if just for listening to the podcast, use code 2026 and you can actually get $50 off. Get it just for $99. Come on, guys. That's cheaper than taking your wife or your husband or your friend out on a little bit of a dinner date. So that's going to help you.
Cheap dinner date, honestly.
Yeah, that's going to help you really, really level up your pitches in 2026. But so glad you guys are here. Taylor, shout out to you for being on the pod. This is an awesome episode. We are so blown away by all the things Taylor does, and it's always so fun to chat with her about it or get to work with her on something that we're all doing together. So here is Taylor Hayden.
The girlies are going to love this one.
Yeah, this one's for the girlies.
This one's for the girlies.
Should we just start like that?
Welcome, everybody.
This one's for the girlies.
and
so, Christy.
And guys, too. You're also welcome. But we are here with Taylor Hayden, who is absolutely incredible.
Taylor, we've been wanting to do this episode for a long, long time. So I'm glad we can make it happen.
Welcome
this
to
is
the
going to be
show.
so great. Welcome
Thank
to the show.
you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
So good to have you.
We invaded Taylor's home, and we are here in
home.
her living room. And
yes, beautiful new home.
this
Thank
is
you.
amazing. But we're really excited to talk to Taylor today because not only are you just a super cool, fun, down-to-earth person, but you've also accomplished so much in your creative career thus far. You are let me do the list. I'll see if I get the list and you can fill in if anything, I miss anything. You are a content creator.
Yes.
You're a photographer. You're a campaign designer. You also do video. You do
Super 8.
modeling.
Super 8.
Modeling. You
Yeah.
do Super 8. You've shot couples and weddings. You also shoot brands. Did I miss anything?
Creative direction.
Creative direction.
Mom.
Mom.
Well, that's number one. These
Wife.
Donut maker.
Yeah.
You've got
donut
a lot of things on
Barista.
your resume. Yes, barista.
What else are we missing?
Gotta go.
I love it. You have managed to do so many things, and I think a lot of people really resonate with wanting to do a lot of different things in their creative career and feeling the need to niche down always. And you show that it's possible to do a lot of different things. So you've done incredible stuff, and we're so excited to have you on the show.
Also, we've gotten to shoot a ton of campaigns with you, which has been
Yes.
awesome. We always joke about this. We're like, any campaign we can get Taylor on, it
like,
just goes so
Taylor.
well.
It's so fun.
So well. So
Thank you.
You just
we've
get
gotten
it.
to shoot
You just
for
get it.
multiple brands with you, which has been so fun. And now we're getting to chat with you. This has been a long time coming. So we kick off all of these episodes of Rapid Fire. A couple key questions.
Okay.
Name, where you're from, and it's what's your business. But I guess we kind of just talked about it. But you can describe what your business is.
Okay. Yes. So I'm Taylor Hayden, and I'm from Indiana, now living in California. I've been out here for about 6 years, and I do all the things that you guys mentioned. I just love having my hands in a lot of things. I think it comes naturally to me because I get bored in one area.
Yeah.
And so my biggest fear literally growing up was people telling me like, okay, what do you want to do? And where I come from in Indiana, you pick your career at 18 and that's your career for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Very
And
Midwest.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love the values that I, learned from there. And hard work is definitely one of those things.
Yeah.
But I've always been a dreamer and I've always just like wanted to do more than one thing. And I'm like, okay, how do I go to college for 6 things that I want to do, And
Yes.
so I remember just like doing like 2 years of community college and I'm like, I'm just doing this myself. Like I just have to do it. And I started, So I started in modeling and since I was 9 and loved it. I always loved being behind the camera. Well, in front of the camera, I guess.
Yeah.
I always felt confident. I always felt like it was fun. I didn't mind the camera being on me. I thought, and like not in a weird, like, it sounds so, not in like a weird selfish way. Just in a
But
way.
it's like it
absolutely.
came naturally to you.
Yeah, in a
'Cause
way
it definitely
you're
does
good
not
at
come
it.
naturally to some people.
I think in a way where I did competitive cheer my whole life and I felt like performing was fun for me.
Absolutely.
And so being in front of the camera, I can kind of turn on this other side of me that isn't normal. And I can understand what the photographer needs and wants and execute that.
Well, we can tell you that is 100% true to the audience
Confirmed.
because we literally,
Confirmed.
anytime we work with Taylor, we're like, she's genuinely the best model we've ever worked with. I'm like, I don't even have to tell her anything. She just like knows. She just gets in my brain and knows, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So fun.
So
Thank
good.
you
So
guys.
started out in modeling.
Started
Then
out
you
modeling.
got into what was next?
photography.
Okay, photography.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you got into
Creative direction.
creative direction. So now you're actually like directing some of the campaigns,
Yes.
Yeah.
pitching stuff, and then
Yes.
you added video along the way. So
Yeah.
cool.
Video
And-
I learned from Noah, my husband.
Shout
Yes.
out Noah.
Shout out Noah.
Noah's awesome.
Yes.
And so you've done a lot, and you've also worked with really big brands, like
Yes.
big national, international brands. You've worked with Billabong, you've worked with Free People, you've worked with Spell, all over Australia. You've worked with all these amazing brands. Basically, any like girly, awesome brand that girls look up to, you have worked with them, which is
Yes.
really, really cool.
We talked about this yesterday. We were like, if there is a cool brand, especially in SoCal, do you go on their website and Taylor's on it? That's just how it seemed.
It's just
It's
Taylor.
just Taylor.
Over all of
We
the
talked about
apps.
that. We were like,
It's
just
amazing.
Yeah, which is so cool. Like you've really got.
I was making my Christmas list this year, and I literally was like, a couple of the brands, I'm like saving something and screenshotting it, and I'm like, that's Taylor.
No.
And it's so funny. But you've done all these amazing things.
Thank you.
But we also know that it's not always just like wins, highs, everything.
Right.
What is, if you've got one, what's a flop that you've had? Like, what's something that didn't pan out, or an embarrassing moment on a shoot, or you completely, like, a lot of people are like, oh, like, my whole memory card corrupted from like a 6-day shoot that I did, or like I fell into the pool while I was modeling this swimwear. Like, what is the thing that you've had in the past, if you can think of one?
I'd say, honestly, the biggest bite that like hurt / was also kind of embarrassing was I worked with this brand in Australia, and they were a kids line, And they reached out to me because they were tired and exhausted of, running their business. And they were like, we need fresh eyes. We need fresh ideas. And I'm like, great. I have so many ideas and nowhere for them to go.
Yes.
I can't create. I don't have, clothing line.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, this is like my dream. So I like draw up all these designs, send them over. We talk like for months and months and months, sending back and forth samples. Everything comes in. I designed, shot, edited the whole campaign, a like 20-piece collection for this kids company, and it was like my entire 2023. Like,
wow,
that's all I was working on and I hand drew a lot of the flowers on the swimsuits and certain things. So involved, so fun. Honestly, loved it.
Yeah.
And the brand actually, I don't even know if I am saying it, but the brand like went bankrupt or something.
Oh no.
And the collection never came out and I never got paid.
No.
Oh. So a year's worth of that. And so that was honestly just the biggest bite because I like obviously used everything that I had, like design, photography.
Yeah.
My daughter was the model. My friends' kids were the models. Like everyone knew this was coming out and then it didn't.
Yeah.
So that's like obviously embarrassing, out of my control, but
of course
that's like something that was just like, ouch.
Was that one of those situations where like friends also didn't really get paid for helping out?
I paid them.
Okay, cool.
So it
my
came
own
out
money.
of your pocket.
Yeah.
So very similar
that's
to
tough.
that. No, I wasn't like potentially becoming a partner in this, but I got hired by an agency and by Uber in
No
2018, I believe. And it was like a pretty last minute thing. They needed somebody to shoot a commercial for them, like a social commercial for them in New Zealand. And I was just in New Zealand at the time. Saw this agency I was following that needed
Casually
help.
in New Zealand.
Yeah, well, I was down there for like
insane.
pre-Christy. I was there quite a
Casually
bit.
in New Zealand.
Anyways, I put together this whole campaign using all of my friends.
Yeah.
In like a 3-day window, we shoot this commercial for them. I'm so stoked about it. Agency stoked about it. And then literally agency fully ghosts me. I have to pay all my friends. I'm waiting on the invoice. I'm like following up with them.
Yep.
And then I start getting messages from other people that have worked with this agency. And they're like, dude, I'm also waiting on money from them. It's been 6 months. No. And then I get a message like 2 months later. One of the partners in the agency texts me. And he's like, hey, bro, the other guy emptied our bank accounts, stole all of the money from the company, and is gone. He's like vanished. And I don't know if that was real or not. But it was like the same thing where it was so embarrassing because I was telling everybody, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just shot this campaign for Uber.
Yes.
And
Catch
I
it
was
on
like,
TV.
Yes.
I was like, I had to put out like $3,000 or $4,000 of my own money, into like paying people.
Yes.
And anyways, none of it came back.
Tough.
See,
And, just brutal.
That's
brutal.
the lows. Those
Yeah.
are the
That's the
lows that
lows.
no one knows about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
As a
But
creator.
very similar. That sucks.
That's a good-
That sucks. So,
That sucks for you, but that's a good flop.
Oh.
That's a good story, and
Yeah.
I'm sure
But
you
you
learned
know
a lot.
what? Honestly, I don't regret it
Yeah.
because I've never been so close to something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
super cool learning experience.
yes, learning
Yeah.
experience. And
Yeah.
just like knowing how brands work behind the scenes like that. Because I shoot for brands, I model for brands.
Yeah.
So being able to like create something with a brand like that was so fun. And it opened my eyes to like, I would love to do that in my like 50s.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I think when I'm done modeling and I've aged out, which, maybe I'll never age out.
No.
That's
But
the hope.
No.
here's the thing. When I'm not,
Yeah. If you don't ever want to
Swimsuit
do it again
model.
or whatever.
when I'm not Billabong anymore.
Yeah.
I think I'd love to like creative direct or like help brands that are tired come up with fresh ideas.
That's
You should
great.
pitch Billabong
That's
like
so good.
the good life, like a
The Good Life.
Yes.
a 55 plus like swimsuit line.
Stop it in 50.
Yeah.
See, they're gonna need something.
They're gonna need
in
something
20
like that.
years.
Yeah,
They are.
yeah.
I love that.
Okay, so next question here is the last question in rapid fire.
Yeah.
Date, marry, kill.
Okay.
Okay.
Date, marry,
Canon,
kill.
Sony, Fuji. Date, marry, kill.
Marry Canon.
Marry Canon.
Marry Canon. Kill Sony.
Yes, I'm with you.
Date Fuji because I love my Fuji
Yes.
X100.
Okay.
Yes.
Same. We love
You and
it
I
too.
are exactly the same.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
I'm like, I'll work with whatever, but
Yeah.
That's my preference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's
so
great.
we shot
That's
2
great.
podcasts yesterday, and both of them said kill Canon. So,
So this is bringing me back to life.
This is
bringing me back to life
where
right
the
now.
world is going. We're shooting this whole podcast on Canon cameras, and people are starting to.
People are kind of mad
Dare
at
we
Canon.
reach out?
Yeah, literally.
Dare we get this sponsor?
Yes,
literally.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
At Canon. So okay, let's take it way back. So
Okay.
like growing up for you.
Yes.
What about your childhood growing up? Do you think led to you wanting to do this for a career, or led to you in this place? Like, is there anything?
How'd you get started?
Yeah, like how did you get started? Like, what about you, even as a kid, were you like, oh, this makes sense that I'm doing this?
I'd say I've always loved clothes. Like I've always been the clothes, girl. Everyone that would stay the night with me would raid my closet, wear my stuff. Like that was always me as a kid. And I've always just been into mixing things that weren't normal.
Yeah.
So like I loved putting together outfits. Like that was kind of my thing growing up. And I always felt confident in my small town wearing those things, where most people are like,
That's cool.
where are you going?
Yeah.
Like, where
Why
do
are
you think you're
so
going?
dressed
Small town
up?
Indiana.
The world
yeah.
is my runway. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, in my mind, I'm in New York Fashion Week.
Yes.
And I'm in Evansville, like going to the mall. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
relax. But yeah, so I feel like I've just always felt confident putting together stuff like that. And so brands that just made sense for me, because it's like these brands I was already wearing, these outfits I was already putting together. It's like, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to wear those clothes and like tell a story.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, working with brands was kind of just like the goal. And I feel like I never really knew social media would be, what it is, who did. But back in like 2013, I was in high school. I was a senior in high school. Instagram came out and I'm like, okay, I'm doing this. And like no one was posting. Everyone was like on Instagram, but watching.
Yeah.
In my town, at least.
Yeah.
Still kind of doing that. Low key.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I just was always like posting, even if it was just like selfies or just like fun things that I was doing. I was always like wanting to share my life for some reason. And like, I think it's natural for me to capture things. I always just like want to capture the things I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I would do that regardless if there was social media.
Yeah.
Like I just want to capture my day because I like to tell a story. And so for me, Instagram is like, especially like being an influencer, I guess you would say, a content creator, it comes so natural because I just want to tell a story, and working with brands just like makes sense because I can fit them into my lifestyle and my story, and the brands really see value in that because it's not me going out and shooting things necessarily. I'm just meshing them into what I'm already doing.
Yeah.
And so they'll say like, okay, keep it on brand, like for what you're doing. And I'm like, it's so funny because like, what's my brand that I'm already doing? It's just me living.
It's authentic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just me living. And it's just cool that they see value in that because that comes so natural to me and it's easy for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say just back to the question, putting together outfits at a young age and loving fashion, being confident in wearing certain things and being loud and just like fun with colors and I don't know.
Yeah.
Putting together things.
Yeah, expressing yourself.
What was your first paid brand modeling gig? Do you remember?
I actually do. Hang on. I think it was one of two. This watch company called Daniel Wellington.
Yes, I've heard of those.
Do you know
watches.
them?
Why do I know Daniel Wellington? Yes, why do I know that?
That
Let me look it
sounds
up.
familiar.
I think it was 2014. They were like reaching out on Instagram DMs and they were like, we want to like work with you, blah, blah. And like I had done tons of trade.
Yeah.
By this point, like my whole closet was getting trade. I'm like, this is amazing.
Right.
Like,
I've reached the pinnacle.
Yes. I mean, in high school, I'm like, if I can wear the brands I want for free just for posting, I'm doing that.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I was doing that. I had worked for trade a lot. And yeah, this watch company was like, okay, like, I'm glad you want to work with us. Here's the rate. And I'm like, wait.
You're like, the rate I have to pay?
I'm like, I'm paying you? I'm not doing that. And they're like, no, we're paying you for the photos. I'm like, interesting. I'm like,
this is how this works.
Yeah, that's the thing. So then after that one, I kind of got a taste of that. And then me and Noah, like, I think maybe 2 years later, we went to Europe. and we went to Greece and Paris and London. And
You married
I was
at the
like,
time?
yeah.
Was it like right when you got married?
Yeah, right when we got
Okay.
married. We got married and then didn't do a honeymoon. Well, we did a honeymoon, but it was small. And then
Yeah.
we went to Europe the next year and
Okay,
did like
cool.
a really long trip. It was like a
Cool.
month.
By the way,
Nice.
do you like doing that? Because I feel like Christy and I joke all the time that we honeymoon all the time because we just
Yes.
do things.
Yeah.
We're all over the place
Yes.
for work, and we do little mini honeymoons. We call
Yeah.
them. But we also didn't do like a big honeymoon because Christy had broken her leg and separated her shoulder right before the
remember
wedding.
that.
Yeah,
So
so
we
we
like,
canceled our
we were supposed to go
honeymoon.
to Hawaii, so we canceled it.
So now anytime we go somewhere, we're like,
It was our honeymoon.
Yeah, we just go honeymoon. Yeah,
For the rest of your
Yeah,
life. Makes sense,
or if we're
honeymoon.
like, we shouldn't spend the money on that, but then we do. We're like honeymoon.
We need to go on a honeymoon.
Yeah. But I've heard people say, this is like more of a marriage question, but I've heard people say like it's way better and more enjoyable to not do a honeymoon like right after you
Yes.
get married, you leave
Yeah.
like that next morning.
Right.
Yeah.
At
Versus like
5 a.m.
just settling into life and then going on like an awesome trip the next
Yes,
year.
I agree.
Did you guys enjoy it?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed it so much. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like the smallest honeymoon. We just did like a cruise.
Yeah.
So it was like easy, but we still got to be tropical.
Yeah.
But we were like, this is like per person and it's paid for like cheap.
Yeah.
When we used credit card points, like we were just
Yes.
like, let's just do something
Yeah, yeah,
small. And then we did like a huge Europe trip, and I was like, let me like try to pitch myself.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like the first time I like made a little deck with like photos of where I'm going and like
Yeah.
photos that I was already planning to take for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some inspo.
And yes, inspiration. And like, if you want your clothes here,
Yeah.
then like X, Y, and Z. And I sent those out and like I got responses, like people wanting to send me stuff. And I was like, wait, I could pay for these trips
Yeah.
Yeah.
by pitching myself before I go. And like, end of story. I've been doing that ever since.
Yeah.
Every
Yes.
trip I go on is like
I love
fully
that.
paid, and I work half the time, play half the time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the thing is like it doesn't feel like work because
Yeah.
I'm
No, so
doing
fun.
it anyway. So it's just I just
Yeah.
wear the outfit that I'm shooting that day, and it comes natural. And so
Yeah.
That's so
Well,
cool.
and Noah can shoot you, which is awesome, right?
And that's
He's
my
so
secret
talented.
weapon.
Yeah. So you guys
That's
are a great
awesome.
team that way, which is
Yes.
so cool.
Yes.
So what age would you guys have been when you first went to Europe?
we would have been 23.
Okay.
Or 22.
So like newly married, you've been married for like a year, you go to Europe, you're starting to pitch yourself for the first time.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, brands are responding to me and they actually
Yeah.
want to do.
And they want to pay
And they
me.
want to pay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's a question, because a lot of people struggle with pitching.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know what to put in a pitch, or I'm sending out pitches, but I'm not getting responses. What do you think it was about those pitches, those early pitches? I'm sure they've changed a lot
Right.
from then to
Yeah.
now. I'm
Right.
sure you've gotten so much better at them now. But what do you think about the early pitches was unique that brands were like, oh, this is an idea or a person that we want to capitalize on?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, I feel like for me was giving them like examples because any like cold pitch that I do, sometimes I get responses. But if it involves them like clicking a link and having to go to it, it's just harder. And
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know, they just like don't want to have to do that. So like laying out like a small PDF that's like a deck of like me and my demographics, and especially for me, my audience is like almost 90% women.
Yeah.
And that's really
great.
important to brands because a lot of girls that have a lot of men that follow them.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're posting dresses or swimsuits, then it's like, well, the men aren't going to be buying that.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that's really important for a brand to know that information. And so
You're like, block all men.
right. No, I'm always like that. I'm like,
Block,
even
block,
my
block.
friends' husbands, can you unfollow me? Because
Yeah.
my percentage needs to go up.
Yes. You're like actually
Do me
hurting
a
my
solid.
audience
Yeah,
score
yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
I'm like, I
That's
swear
funny.
the only men that follow me are all my friends' husbands.
Yes, totally.
But yeah, I feel like just having that kind of laid out in like a nice presentation. And like for me going on these trips and like showing inspo photos of like what I'm already going to be doing, it makes it easy for them to feel like they can just jump on.
Yes.
Rather than like me being like, hey, I want to work with you. You give me all the ideas.
Yeah.
They're not going to come up with
Right.
now
They could, but it's a lot
sometimes-
more work. for
Yes.
them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So coming
Make
up with
it
the
easy
idea
for them.
for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually they'll sign off on it. Where like if they have to come up with the campaign, sometimes bigger brands have briefs and they have like this is exactly what we need and we want you to do it and I can do that too. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think if you're wanting to work with a brand, just like weaving them into what you're already doing
Yeah.
So
is
good.
the best way.
Do you remember how much money you were asking for back then for like a brand? Like, what do you think money wise you were pitching for? Or were you just going like,
Gas.
what's your budget?
50
Like,
bucks.
yeah. 50 bucks.
I'm like, I think like $150 I would do for like a post.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had like a few thousand followers at that point, mostly like people in my hometown. And then the biggest thing, the breakthrough for me was I started working with these like boutiques and they were carrying all these different brands. And so I was getting a lot of exposure because back then it was like, you go to boutiques, you know what I mean? Especially in the Midwest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still do.
Right.
Yeah.
There's not
But-
a free people in
Right.
probably Evansville or
No,
where you grew up.
No,
right?
no. You're
So
driving
it was
all
like,
the way to Nashville.
Yes.
So, and I was so close to Nashville and Evansville, I would drive down and model for these boutiques, and they would carry, you know, Spell, Byron Bay, and all these Australian labels. Like so many cool women's Australian labels. There's so many.
go off,
Oh, yeah.
Indiana. Let's go.
Yeah, literally.
Go
It's
on.
crazy. And what they loved, which is so funny, is the wide open field of like that like wheat, like wispies.
Really?
Australians
Australia's
ate
just like,
that
what
up.
is that?
The
ate it up.
Midwest,
amazing.
like
The
dead
Midwest-
cornfield,
And do you know what it
then
was? It was like the backside of like our hospital.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah,
weird
yeah.
random fields in our hospital.
Yeah.
Nope, we don't know who own it. Some
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
random like
Yes.
farmer.
You never actually know what a brand wants
Yes.
until you actually really talk to them, because sometimes you're like, oh, they want like the epic view in this
Right.
like crazy place. And they're like, no, we actually want like the back cornfield, because oftentimes that's what's relatable to the consumer.
Right.
And they're like, oh, I can see myself in that.
That's
Right.
funny.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I just remember, countless, hundreds of dresses just running through the wispy wheat
Yeah.
fields. And
Yes.
Well, that was so
spinning
that era
around
too,
and-
right?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
so
the
that
wide
era.
brim hats. The
Yes.
wide brim hats.
Yes, even just seeing everybody like this
I
past
feel like I
couple
can
weeks.
like picture that with
Yeah,
spells.
well, doing the
The
like
lack of
2016
color,
throwbacks.
the lack of color hats.
You know, like everyone
Yes,
posting their
yes.
2016 throwbacks. Everyone
Yes.
just got
Oh my
like
gosh.
the.
Yeah, this is
everyone
the
was so
2016
hipster.
throwback right now. I
Oh
love
my
this.
gosh,
That
yeah,
was the
the
era.
wheat field.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
yeah.
that just kind of spread like literal wildfire, like through Australia.
Yeah.
And my audience was just like going up and up and up from there. And all of those individual brands that were carried in these boutiques started reaching out to me individually. So cutting out the boutique and going direct brand to
Yeah.
brand.
Yes.
And I have loved that ever since. Like just
Cool.
talking to brands and building relationships with brands. And it's just people
Yeah.
working in an office. Like it's not scary. Like it's just
Absolutely.
people and you're just talking back and forth. And
Yep.
yeah, like now, like I have friends from these like companies that have quit and worked at other brands, but I'm still friends with them. Now they have kids. We still chat. And it's
Yeah.
like just building these relationships has been honestly the best part for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, so now it's like, I think my audience, it's so weird when people ask for my audience, because you would think it's like California lifestyle brand,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it's not. It
Yeah.
was built on that Australian start
Crazy.
in
Yes.
Indiana.
Yes.
And then a really big percent is Spain. And I don't know if
Interesting.
it's because I like shot fire content in Spain.
Yeah.
And
Seriously.
I just like got on the
Yeah.
Explore page or something.
Yeah, maybe.
And then
Absolutely.
US. So it's
Yeah.
just funny when US brands like
Yeah.
ask for my demographics, because I'm like,
Yeah. It's like you never
Australia,
know what
Spain.
yeses will lead to like certain yeses down the road. And it's
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
really cool.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
really, really cool. Okay, so that was kind of like you're growing up and then getting into it, and then
Yeah.
like first real like almost debut onto the scene with these brands.
Yes.
What have been some like pinch me moments since then, like for you that have been like, these have been some like highlight brands or highlight campaigns I've done? What's some of those things that you think over the last few years that you've been like, oh, these are some highlights?
Yeah. I mean, just moving to California in general was like
Huge,
one
yeah.
of the biggest pinch me moments, because since literally high school, I put on my bucket list, moved to California, you know, whether I was married or not, I was wanting to come out here.
Yeah.
So moving out here with my husband, both doing creative things, I mean, epic.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that has been amazing. And obviously, like, California is like the mecca of all things, you know, lifestyle, and just all the headquarters are out here
Yeah.
and these brands
Yeah.
are out here. And that's just been so fun, like networking and not even trying to, just like being in the right places at the right time.
Yeah.
And like you said, saying yes to things, and those yeses leading to other rooms and relationships and the right relationships. But I'd say the biggest pinch me moments has definitely been Free People, because that's been like my lifestyle brand since middle school.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely
Crazy.
obsessed.
Yeah.
So that was always the goal. And yeah, it's so crazy. They reached out to me. I mean, I had been sending them perfectly curated content for years, like trying to work with them. And they reached out based off of a photo on Instagram shot on an iPhone of me in Florida on vacation with my family, not shooting content, just in something that I purchased with my own money. My hair was in a bun. I had no makeup on. Post beach, just like flower in my hair, fun little photo. That's the one that sparked it.
Yeah.
And they reached out and were like, we want to post this. Like, can we post this? And I'm like, I did not just get a DM from Free People. What the heck?
Yes.
And so from there, they started emailing me, and then now I'm like on their PR list, which is just like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So I've worked with them so many times throughout the years. So, and that'll never be real to me.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's
really
a huge moment.
That's a really big pinch me moment. And then also, I think over the past few years, working with Teza, because she's been someone I've looked up to for years, since the OG days, like her living in New York, just stomping around New York, running the city.
Yeah.
I loved her content. It was so just like fiery and passionate and loud and fun. And I'd always look at her content and be like, none of this makes me feel smaller. It makes me want to be better.
Yeah.
Like her content was like that for me. And so now being out here, and she lives in LA, and I've worked with Teza, like the app, and me and Noah have done shoots with her, and like I've been going to Teza events, just like that's crazy
cool,
to me. So like someone that I looked up to all those years ago, like now considered like someone that I talk to and like work with is so rad. So yeah, I mean, there's so many brands that are amazing that have supported me.
Yeah.
And just being able to shoot at the beach while my daughter's running around and Noah, my husband's just shooting me.
Yeah.
Just feels
like a dream.
Not real. That's my
It's a little bit different than the backside of the hospital cornfield or wheat field.
It's much better, I would say.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Well, that's so awesome, Taylor. I feel like you're in a very interesting place when we think about most people that are in one of your very many hats you wear, right?
Yes.
You're like modeling, you're creative directing, you're
content creator,
designing campaigns, you're a content creator, you're a photographer, you know, you even shoot video with Noah. What's the balance of all that? Like, how do you, because I know we've had conversations before privately where we've just been talking about the struggle of brands or businesses that we're working with trying to force us into a hat to wear, where you're like, no, I want to wear this hat, or I want to wear multiple hats.
Yes.
So talk to us about what have been some of the uphill battles of being someone that started out in modeling, but you're much more than a model now. And how have you had some challenges with people trying to kind of put you in a box?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people feel that. I think we're moving into a world where people are just so much more, well, the brands are demanding more like variation and skill from people.
Yeah.
The days of like, every single production is like, you know, you got grips, you've got photographers,
like
you've got
15 people,
photo assistant, you've got models, you've got makeup assistant. You know, it's like everything's getting pushed into like less and less people, right? And there's more really
like a multifaceted
diversity
approach
needed out of people's skills,
right?
But still, brands often like to put us in boxes, or you know, someone like you especially, who can be in front of the camera, behind the camera. Talk about some of the challenges of that.
Yeah, I would say just like figuring out what to call myself. Like even when I was making my website, like I remember years ago, like reaching out to you guys and being like, okay, like I do this, like what's the name for that? And it's like, I have to put like different bullets on my website so people know, like, are you inquiring? They see myself on Pinterest. Oh, she's a photographer. She shoots weddings. She shoots seniors. She shoots couples. Like, oh, she's a photographer. And it's like, well, I am, but I am also a model. So then a brand comes to me for modeling and it's like, oh, well, she does content creation. So are you modeling or are you a content creator? So I feel like just figuring out like what I am so that I can pitch myself well. Because that's been my hardest thing, is like, it's like a mouthful to be like, hey, do you need photos? Do you need a model? Do you need... I can do all of that. It's like, no, I don't believe you. It seems too good to be true. But yeah, like you said, like narrowing it down, I feel like once the brands understand all of the things that I can do, it makes sense to them because it does cut out those people. So like I can shoot a campaign for them and like wear all of those hats.
Yes.
And I remember that's what I was like reaching out to you guys. It's like, what do I charge for that? Because that's so different than just you sending me clothes, me taking photos at the beach, and then sending you images.
Yeah.
It's like creating these campaigns and hiring, you know, models or friends or whatever.
Yeah.
Taking photos, editing them, doing reel shorts, editing those. It's like, when you have all these different hats, it's like, what do I charge?
Yeah.
That I feel like that's been my biggest struggle. And like being fair.
Yeah, totally.
But also not wanting to niche out and being just one.
Right.
Like I want to do all of them.
Yeah.
So like how can I do them well? And how can I make it make sense to the brand when I'm pitching myself?
So why don't we talk about pricing then? Because I think this is where you're in the spot of you're a model, you're a photographer, you're a content creator, influencer. I think a lot of the time you might get, I'm assuming you get a lot of brands reaching out being like, oh, hey, we'll send you like $150 and we'll ship you this product.
Right.
Can you do all these things for us?
Right.
Versus that conversation is probably a lot different when they're reaching out to a photographer. Hopefully it is, right? Where they're like, hey, we want to hire you for a campaign. Here's the overall campaign budget.
Yeah.
How do we design this, you know? And you're like right in between those, you know? And so I'm sure
Or you do both.
Yeah. It's sometimes you have to have conversations with brands where you're trying to help them understand, as you just talked about, that you can do both. But let's talk pricing because this is, as you said, this has been a struggle for you. It's always been a struggle for us.
Yeah.
Pricing's always
For every
something
creative,
to constantly be working through, right? It's always shifting as offers shift. But what are your actual offers? Talk us through like when a brand's working with you, what does a normal campaign or a normal day look like for you? What are you delivering on? And then throw some like ballpark numbers on some of that stuff just to give some people some context.
Yeah, I'd say probably my most like picked rate would be, I have like a rate sheet where basically I have a couple of things paired together that most people want, which is images and a few videos.
Yeah.
Most people want like, I want images, this many images, and a few videos in each outfit.
Yeah. So that's like a core offer you've got. Yeah.
So I'd say that's like the one that most clothing brands or product-based brands want. And then I also have like on that sheet, everything a la carte.
Yeah.
Just because some people just want, you know, one thing and they can build their own. And most of the time, if they don't already have like a scope of work with a rate, which a lot of the brands nowadays that pitch me, or reach out to me, they already have that ready. Or they'll say like, what's your rate? And I'll ask their budget first, just because I've been burned in the past where I've realized their budget's way higher than my rate. So sometimes I'll just like word it in a way that's like, I'm so stoked. Like, I'd love to work with you. This aligns with me. Like, let's move forward. What's your budget? And then they'll have to come back with that. And so then sometimes it's lower, sometimes it's higher. But I'd say my core like rate would be around $850. And that's probably for 10 images. Mostly iPhone. No one really is wanting digital anymore these days. Sometimes they do, but mostly iPhone lifestyle type stuff. And then like 3 to 5 little shorts that aren't edited, just like 30-second little movements of me in the clothes. So that's like my core probably package. And then building on from there, if they want a promotional post, that's a la carte. So like anything in my feed, because now that my feed is so organic to me, like I'm not doing ads really anymore these days. I haven't in years. It's never really been my cup of tea. And if I do an ad, they're going to pay for it. And so I just charge for it, and most brands will. But some just want UGC, and that's like my main scope of work, and it's fun.
Let's settle into the UGC side for a second, because I think a lot of people who are new to the space, they're like, okay, I kind of want to get into content creation, but like I don't want to post everything that I do. Or I like, is there even space for me to make money by not posting? Talk about that world and the UGC world and how brands actually do want content that you're not posting, you know, and finding the value in that.
And I feel like that's like a secret weapon, because so many people reach out to me. My number one question has always been, how do I work with brands? How do I get started? I only have 1,000 followers.
Yeah.
I only have 3,000 followers. I only have 800 followers. Like, no one's going to want to work with me. And I'm like, you couldn't be more wrong, because there's so much room now and so much space, and it's less influencer marketing, because I think they've realized now that it is so saturated in social media world. It has gotten so saturated that it means less for like a story post. Like it used to be you charge like $500 for a story and get so many click links, where now like they just disappear so fast, and there's so many influencers doing that.
Well, and the platforms, the algorithms also just buried a lot of stuff, right?
that
Like we don't get the
means
views,
less.
you don't get the likes that I'm sure you got
trust around that
8
stuff
years
too.
ago, right?
Yeah, the
all of us
engagement's
used to
way
get way
different.
different engagement.
Yes.
Yeah, and so these brands know that, and they see the, you know, the links being clicked less. They see all these things, and so they see that as less valuable, actually, sometimes.
Yeah.
The followers that you have. Maybe like an in-feed post could be different, or a reel or something. But yeah, I think the secret weapon is UGC. And for those of you that don't know what UGC is, it's user-generated content, which means you're creating content for a brand and you don't have to post. So there's no promotional posting side of things, which I love, because I can make my feed what I want. The things that I'm inspired by, the film that I'm taking naturally, the photos that inspire me. And that's ultimately my portfolio for brands, but it's not completely bogged down by sponsored posts and stuff like that. And so I get to build the story of what I'm trying to, in quotations, sell. In quotations, my life, which is also so fun for me and weird that I get to do that. But yeah, I think for people that want to start, UGC is something to pitch, because you don't have to have followers, you just have to know what you're doing, and be talented. And if you can take photos, if you can model, if you can have someone shoot you, then you can do what these influencers are doing.
And the reason it's so valuable to brands is that, because I think sponsored posts are more and more not becoming a thing of the past, because there's still a part of it. There's still a place for it. But the UGC, and why it's so valuable for brands, is because they can use that in their paid advertising, and it doesn't look like an ad, right?
Exactly.
Like they get to push that stuff out and make it look like it's just user generated.
Exactly.
And it doesn't have to say like hashtag ad on it and anything like that. And it doesn't feel forced and fake. It actually feels really real and authentic. And they get to utilize that content on the behind the scenes of whatever channels they're trying to push.
And like what you guys were saying is the narrowing down the teams of these massive campaigns that are becoming less and less because of social media and these content creators that are doing it so well. It's like amazing to have all these UGC creators and have you're working with Anthropology, okay? You're in the marketing, and you just have a pool of all this UGC that you've gotten that you can use. And it's like brands are constantly having new products. They're constantly needing new content. They can't constantly be doing these huge campaigns. They can do them quarterly, but they need fresh stuff all the time. And so... And fresh faces all the time. Totally. It can't just be
Diversity
the same five people.
Right.
So that's just where UGC, I think, is a secret weapon. And anyone that wants to get started, I think, should pitch that. Because if you're doing that, then you also have something to show other brands. Like when they're asking, like, okay, show me what you've done.
I love that.
And well, in
an
objection that I'm sure people are listening to this right now, people are probably objecting to this being like, well, I'm not a model. I don't like recording myself. I don't like doing my own UGC. And just for you listening, if you guys are listening to the podcast, Christy and I are leaning into this world. I am not doing UGC content in front of the camera, but this is so real. It's not just for people like you, Taylor, that are models. Like our biggest client on the brand photo side from last year, we did 6 figures with them last year in retainers. They came to us like maybe last fall, and they said, hey, you're delivering normally like 4 or 5 reels every single campaign we shoot, and these are like professionally shot reels
on a camera.
They're like, do you think you, instead of doing like 5 reels, do you think you could do like 2 or 3 reels and do like 3 UGC pieces instead? And we're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Absolutely.
Like, it's crazy how much the world is changing. Because I think about 10 years ago, when I was shooting stuff, it was like you were trying to make stuff look so good,
beautiful, perfect.
And so for anyone that's listening that's objecting to this being like, I'm writing off this whole UGC concept because I'm not a model, I'm not in front of the camera, I'm not doing my own little iPhone UGC. Christy and I are focusing on this.
Yes.
With
And
our
what we're doing is we're
clients.
building UGC into our campaigns. So we hire models like Taylor, and we go, hey, here's an iPhone, take some UGC, here's some concepts.
Exactly.
And we're either helping you with that, or we're over here shooting something else while the models are doing that. Like,
Totally.
build it into your campaigns, because this is the way the
So
world is
valuable.
going. So
So
let's talk
valuable.
about this a little bit more, because you said digital, people are not wanting digital as much.
Yeah.
And there's still definitely a huge demand for digital, but you're saying you're seeing a rise in people wanting like literal iPhone generated content.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
yeah.
Yes.
So when do you think you started to see that shift? Because you said it's the majority of your work now is like
Yeah.
more of the iPhone
I'd
stuff.
say definitely within the past 2 years.
Yeah.
I think before my daughter's 3, so before I was pregnant, it was all digital, and I would have galleries of campaigns
Yeah.
to send
Yeah.
to brands, when they're asking like, show
Yeah.
me beauty stuff, blah, 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 send them that. Now it's like, I'm just going through my camera roll, and it's
Yeah.
like all on my iPhone. It's so weird for me because I've been, in this space for I don't even know how many years, 10,
Yeah.
10 years,
11
yeah,
years.
10 plus.
Yeah.
And then I've just been, like you said, focusing on my editing and always color correcting and making sure that it looks natural, and just focusing on all the back end stuff. And now it's like they're like, no, can you just like get one of those little suction things and just video yourself, in the outfit like a day in the life, and then send that over. And I'm like, and you're gonna pay me $800?
You pay me like the same price as if this was
Wait,
digital?
What
Yeah.
have I been doing?
Yeah.
For
But
sure.
yeah, I think definitely within the past 2 years, and I think TikTok has like definitely been and Reels has been like one of the main sources of that. Is just like it's so quick scrolling that it's not that it feels like a waste, because I think there are brands who still want digital and want to do a really, really good job telling their story.
Yeah.
And I respect that. And I love doing those projects still, because that's like the creative direction side of me that like just eats that up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the scrolling in 2 seconds, like you have to show it up front within 3 seconds, or else they're scrolling right by it. So like anytime I'm doing like shoes or something, it's like show it right in the beginning. And it's like, it's just crazy. I feel like it's gotten more and more iPhone and more quick based content.
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
Yeah.
For
Which
sure.
I would say I don't love creating as much.
Yeah.
You mean like the pace?
Yeah.
Is
Just
that what
like
you're saying?
bam,
Like
bam,
the
bam.
pace of it? Yeah.
For
Why
sure.
don't we talk about that? Because there's going to be a lot of people listening to this saying, what in the world do I do to start with UGC? If I'm going to get into this world, whether I'm going to be in front of the camera, the way you're doing it, suction cup on the mirror, you're in an outfit, dancing around, or whether it's something like what Christy and I often do, where it's like we're hiring models on shoots to take care of UGC.
Yeah.
What do you think makes a good UGC deliverable? So for people that are like, okay, I'm totally new to UGC, they're used to doing something very curated, very edited, or very polished, digital.
Yeah.
Give like what's a beginner's guide to like good UGC that brands are really wanting right now?
Yeah. I'd say whatever is a very clear cut, minimal way of selling the product. And that could be as easy as being in your backyard and showing a pair of shoes. That could be as easy as you doing your makeup in the morning and telling why you love a certain product. And I feel like every time I'm doing that normally, like naturally in my stories, the brand will reach out and they're like, oh, can we pay to use this? Like, we want to use this. And it's like, oh, I just sold their concealer for them by just telling my audience how much I loved it.
Yeah.
And so I think just like being as natural and normal as possible and just showcasing it in a way that makes it seem like everyday life and people feel like they can relate to that. And like you said with doing UGC on shoots, I've been modeling UGC on shoots, like exactly like what you're saying. So
we did that on the Glossy shoot, the last campaign that we worked on together. Yeah.
So I just did a campaign with Slow Tide, and I showed up, and there's like models being shot digital, models being shot film, and then I took an iPhone into the bathroom. And I was just doing a day in the life, like in one of the towels, like I just got out of the shower, and it's like they had a little scene for me to do, and it's like anyone could do that at home.
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
pitch to this brand, you know? So like that's something that I think is just, I mean, they're using the models that are already on set to do it, which is so fun. I like doing that. But yeah, you could do it at home too.
Yeah.
So anyone that isn't on a shoot with, you know, slow tide,
Absolutely.
you could, if you have SandCloud or whatever it is that you already are using and love, act like you're doing like an ad for them. And I think that in the most natural, authentic way that you can, which would be you just being yourself. And I think that's like my biggest thing in my brand course that I created last year. My number one, I started it as point number one, is know your why. Because I feel like if you don't know your why, you could have all the tools in the world and be successful. And even if you are successful, you're not going to feel like you are because you never knew your why. And so if you know your why and why you're doing something, and you can be yourself, and your brand is yourself, you just being yourself, then it's like, that's so easy to maintain. And you're not being someone else or having this vision that you think that you want to become. And it's like, there's people that are doing that and being successful, but I would question how happy they are doing it, you know?
So for UGC, you're saying it basically goes two different ways.
Yeah.
You either have a video that's like, you kind of pick a concept or an idea, like a day in the life going to the beach, or me doing something in my backyard, you know, or like you guys just bought this house, so I'm sure there's gonna be things in your backyard you're looking forward to do. So like maybe you're doing something in your backyard, updating something, and there's a natural flow with that product through that video. So it's like you have an idea, you film the idea, you take them through a micro story, and there's product placement all through that, right? And pretty early, as you said. Or the second one is like literally maybe like a suction cup on a mirror, and you have like some type of a skincare product or something, and you're very vocally talking about, this is just why I love this product. Here's what it does for me. This is why I love it. Very naturally, right? You said in the same way you would put it like on your Instagram stories.
Exactly.
So
like
those are two easy UGC examples. Pick a micro idea, turn it into a micro story, and make sure the UGC or the product is placed through that. And also then giving like a very real and relatable, good insight into why you love a product. And you can just rinse and repeat that. And those are great because, again, brands want that. And just to kind of wrap up the idea of why brands want that from a marketing perspective for everyone that's listening, like because the algorithms have shifted and because they're intentionally making all of our reach smaller, they're doing that so that we pay more and to pay to get exposure, right? And so brands, they can't trust, I'm going to go pay someone like Taylor $10,000 for a post.
Right.
Because they can't trust that it's going to turn out the same way it might have in 2017.
Exactly.
When it was like a chronological based feed or whatever, right? And so now what they do is the brand go, no, I'd actually rather just focus on paying people for quantity of content. We will then pay to play by putting into our paid advertising strategies.
Totally.
And that's how we're going to make sure the content gets pushed out.
Totally.
And so influencer marketing is still definitely important.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of, I think, just brand world building through the people you pick to showcase your products. That's important. But I think like the mass amount of getting products in front of people, it's all going through paid. Which is why UGC is so great.
And going off the UGC like examples, one of my biggest qualities of like UGC content that brands recognize is my ability to talk on the camera. A lot of content creators won't do that. And a lot of influencers who are constantly on camera showing their face won't talk on camera. So
they
that's
just like
something,
to make like cute little videos, but they don't want to verbally talk about something.
So a lot of these brands that are wanting paid ads will come to me because I'll speak. And it's just crazy because I'm like, I'm in my house. You know, it's easy.
I'm comfy.
So if you're good at that, like they need that.
That's great.
Or go out and build the skill.
What do you feel like are some
communication?
What do you feel like are some other like outlier effects like that? Like we wouldn't even think right on the outset, like being willing to talk on camera, but someone listening is like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I want to make this my thing. Like, I'll talk on camera. What are some other things that you feel like brands look for in UGC creators? Like, let's step away from the influencer side and like follower amount. But like, if we look into that, like, are there any other little outlier things that would just give someone a little bit of like an edge forward against maybe like the sea of DMs that they're getting?
I would say like start doing what you want now. Like create UGC for stuff in your closet.
Yeah.
With the brands that you already like now, because that's what I did to start. And that's how they found me. And that's literally how free people found me after years of trying to pitch.
Yes.
They found me based off me just on vacation with my hair in a bun, like normal. And it's like, that could be anyone. That could be any girl.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I feel like just being yourself and creating content now as if you were creating content for those brands is huge.
It's great.
And one of the other pieces of UGC that brands come to me for are me doing outfit videos, which is so funny with the suction cup thing. But like, say I'm going to LA for the day, I'll just like wear something, you know, that I think is interesting or whatever, and I'll like set it up in just like on the street, you know, and I basically like set it up, I walk back, I like showcase the outfit, like just be myself, my personality, smile, whatever, and then come back and turn it off. And I just cut that into like a little 5 to 8 second video. And brands that have came to me, they'll say like, it's the ability to do it in like a fun way that shows your personality without it being stiff, and also without it being like you're showing off or something. Like they've came to me and said like, we love how you're just you and like just fun. And so I think just like being yourself in the clothes that you love or the products that you love and sending those over and just trying to, you know.
Absolutely.
Well, and you're telling little micro stories, right? Like every time you do that, you're like, even if it's just 5 to 8 seconds, you're giving people this little glimpse into like this micro story of like you and Noah's life, right?
Yeah.
And we actually recorded a podcast yesterday with a guy named JD, who's awesome. And JD comes from the music video world where he's shooting for like massive artists, you know? And he said the biggest thing when you're creating music videos for artists is he's like, you're building that artist's world.
Right.
You're building the perception of how the world is going to see that artist based on the props you use, the models that are in the music video, the lighting, like the outfits people are wearing, and you're building that person's world. And what's so cool about what you're doing and what we are all getting hired to do is we're helping brands build their world.
Yes.
How does the world see Billabong? How does it see Free People? How does it see, you know, any of these other brands that we're working with, you're working with? And so it's important you think like that. And so those micro stories are super important because you're like, this is a 5 to 8 second clip, but it's not a 5 to 8 second clip. It's a 5 to 8 second little micro story that's building a perception, public perception.
Yeah.
And so the more, really what I think you're saying is when brands come to you, they say, we see a lot of value in what you're doing because what we want to have public perception on, how we want the world to see us is kind of the same storyline that you are showing.
Right.
And you're showcasing for yourself.
Totally.
Whether it's you and Noah going to LA and doing whatever, grabbing lunch, getting coffee, shopping around a little bit or whatever, right? And so I think that's where you're saying it's important you be yourself.
Yeah.
It's important, I think, for everybody that's listening that wants to get better at this. Like, ask yourself, what is the world that you're building your own public perception around?
Right.
Because the more you can build some type of a public perception, and I'm not talking following, I'm talking like a culture to you.
Totally.
A vibe to you.
Yeah.
That's what brands want to go, oh, she has that.
Yeah, I want to get on that.
Easy fit.
Yes,
Perfect fit. Good alignment. Let's get in their DMs, you know, which is really cool. Or let's say yes to their pitch, which is really important.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, being known for something, you know?
Yes.
So we've talked about how you don't need a massive following in order to do UGC, to get started in content creation. And there's a lot of avenues for being able to just give value to get in the door, right? Which is what we were talking about. But let's also talk about followership. Let's talk about growing an audience, because that is not just a vanity metric. It is a trust factor, right? It's a massive trust factor, and it's proof of concept is what we always say. Like, if you're telling a brand, like, I can create content for you that's going to perform well, but your own content isn't performing well, it's not a good proof of concept.
It's not the end of the world, but it's really helpful if it is performing well.
But it's going to build trust if you can get engagement, and if you can grow a following.
Yeah.
So talk about your experience of growing a following. What do you feel like in the early days you did wrong that if you were to go back, you would correct? And then what are things that you feel like you've been doing well that other people can emulate?
Wow, that's a really good question. I mean, I feel like back then it was harder to grow an audience in the beginning, just because it's not like, oh, my reel went viral and I got 20,000 followers overnight.
Yeah.
Like
there's like almost almost no such thing as viral unless you got
No.
posted on like repost pages, you know,
Yes.
like those
Right.
big,
Yes.
The
like-
Tumblr
Yes.
repost
yes, like the
pages.
Tumblr repost pages.
Yeah.
Yes.
Me always
Yeah.
wanting to be on the Brandy Melville one.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
18. I'm like, please.
Love
No,
that.
but I feel like, yeah, I mean, I started at 0, just like everyone. But yeah, building that following slowly but surely,
Yeah.
showing up as myself every day, and posting and sharing what I love and staying true to myself. Like I wasn't always reinventing like myself to whatever was, you know, cool
Yeah,
at
the
that
latest.
time. Yeah. And I feel like just staying the course of what I loved and sharing the things that I loved, it built like a trust with my audience just because they saw value in what I was giving them. And it wasn't like just a diary of photos of me, even though it is a diary of photos of me.
Yeah.
I'm also giving them value. I hope they tell me that I am.
That's the
Yeah.
goal.
But that's my goal is
Yeah.
that I'm adding value to my audience, and the more people that follow, they stay because maybe they come because it's cool California lifestyle content, but they stay because maybe I'm giving them value or insight or, you know, depth of some
Yeah.
sort. And I feel like I really try to talk and relate to my audience in my captions.
Yeah.
And I don't like take captions lightly as like just a fun like vibe.
Yeah, no, your
Right.
captions are
Yes.
like,
I really like to talk and share
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
heart in my captions, and I love writing, and so I
Yeah.
feel like that's like a space for that, and it's fun to do that, but also showing up on my stories. And I feel like in the early days, like you said, things that I did wrong in the beginning, I think it's actually the opposite. I think it's what I'm doing wrong now and what I did better
Yeah.
then was showing up on my stories like myself, not just like what I'm doing,
Yeah.
but me talking.
yeah, just like
Yeah.
yapping on the stories
Yapping,
back
yes.
in the day. Yeah, we all used to
People
do that.
want to
Absolutely.
yap.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
love
yeah.
watching yapping. They love YouTube shorts. They
Yeah,
love
yeah,
YouTube.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I feel like they felt like they knew me because of that. And I was constantly like, I just got this in the mail. Like, I'm showing you what it is. Or here's my grocery haul for the week. Or like,
Yeah.
here's what I'm doing. And just being myself and talking on there, I feel like really built like a community of women and
Yeah.
men, but mostly
Yeah.
women, and like a trust of whatever I share on here promotionally is like because I want to.
Yes.
And
Yeah, I love
then
that.
those perform well for brands and and companies because it's not just like me just throwing stuff up all the time every week, just these random protein bars or whatever it is.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
yes.
It's like, oh no, she actually eats these protein bars every day. She showed me. I know. I trust her.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, just like showing up myself, and obviously after having a kid and, you know, not having quiet spaces to just, you know, pull
Right.
out
It's a little bit different.
pull
yeah.
out the phone and record what I'm thinking in the moment.
Yeah.
That's been harder, but yeah, I really like want to try to do that more
Cool.
this year in 2026 because
Yeah.
I like
people
that.
miss that and they've
Yeah.
told me
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I miss that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Just being myself on
Yes.
there.
It feels like, and it sounds so like cliche or maybe whatever, but I'm like, it truly is like people want the authentic stuff. Like, and I
Yeah.
think now more than ever, like I think there was a season where people were so enraptured by like the perfectly curated photo, and that's what like got all the attention.
Yeah.
I feel like we have pendulum swung.
Yes.
And people want the like behind the scenes,
Right.
what's really going on in your brain. Like they're interested in that. And they're interested in
Totally.
what's real. And it
Totally.
feels like the real stuff is oftentimes getting the attention.
Well, I love that you answered the question. We basically said, how do you grow an audience?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
instead of, if I was to type that into YouTube right now, how to grow an audience on Instagram, how to
Right.
become an influencer, how to build a platform, a lot of what you're going to see is like, here's how you got to like shoot your content, structure it, edit it.
Tools,
It's got to
yeah.
be fast. It's got to be this. And your answer was nothing about like what you're actually,
Yeah.
you know, posting or going viral or trying to hop on trends. You were like, oh, it's just giving value to people over
People.
time. And
Yeah.
I hope this comes out in the right way, because I think all of us have done this, and I definitely think you've done this. But like, you haven't blown up.
Right.
You've had a consistent
Yeah.
show up rate over the last 10 plus years, where
Totally.
you now have a great following. But it wasn't like you had some post in, 2022 that got 17 million views. You
Exactly.
got 30,000 followers, and then you're just kind of on a decline since then. Like, no, you're like steadily growing.
Yeah.
And it's because you are actually doing the root of what grows
Yeah.
any type of an audience. It's you're leading
Yeah, that's
people
so
in some way.
good.
You're leading them in clothes. You're leading them in value. You're leading them in health. You're leading them with your thoughts, right?
Right.
Yes.
Versus just creating something that's like, oh, dang, yeah, that person's like really cool. That was a sick piece of content. But like they
Right.
can't keep that up.
And I
No
think
one can keep up virality, right?
You can feel like I've been following along with you for a long time. And I'm like, you can feel how real it is and how true it is to you. And I think a lot of people fall into the trap of like, I got to do what's trendy. Like
Totally.
I gotta talk the way that influencers
Yes.
are talking. I have to go to the places. I have to dress like
That's
someone else.
definitely a thing.
Like
Yes.
I have to do
The
the hand
voice.
motions. I have to do the voice. I have to whatever.
This.
Because I
Yes.
see
In the
that
car.
someone else is going viral in that. So
Doing that.
I want to be where they are. So I have to do that.
Yes.
Whereas that's not sustainable. And I
Right.
think
Yeah.
that's what Joey's talking
Yeah,
about. It's like you
Which
sometimes
I love
get
that answer. Yeah.
Yes.
and then it crashes and burns after a while. But yours is a sustainable, healthy growth because
Thank
it's
you.
actually surrounded around what's real to you. And I
Right.
think that if people leaned more into that with themselves,
Yeah.
it's not I have to try to be Taylor or I have to try to be, Stephanie or I have to try to be whoever.
Right.
It's like, okay, what are my own passions that I have and how do I package that in a way that's consumable online?
Right.
And deliver that to my audience and be real. Like,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
genuinely people want to see that.
Yeah, leadership is such a not word that we use in the content space, but like you're leading an audience
Yeah.
of people.
Absolutely.
Christy's dad says this all the time. He says if you're a leader and
And no
you turn
one's
around
following
and no one's
you.
following you, you're not leading. You're just taking a walk.
Wow.
Yes.
And like I feel like that's what a
so
lot of people
good.
do online, right? They
Yeah.
blow up because like they had a post blow up or they hit a trend, right place, right
Yes.
time. But they're not actually cultivating value for the people that are there
Yes.
after that.
Yes.
And so they turn around and they're just taking a walk where
Right.
you've consistently been like, hey, come along, I'm going to teach
Yeah.
you about health. Hey, come along, I'm going to teach you about this outfit. Hey, come along, I'm going to teach you about
Yeah,
Right.
just
You know,
life.
lifestyle
Or they
or
wanna
whatever,
be-
faith,
Yeah.
right? Which is cool.
Yes, or they want to work with brands. They want to do these
Mm-hmm.
things. And my biggest question, which is why it was the number one thing in my brand course, is why?
Yeah.
Because if it's just to have 1.6 million,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
then that's
yeah.
that's
can't
not
help
great. Yeah.
you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, for me, like me and Noah always struggle with that. We always talk about that with just like viral stuff because it's like I could pump out what these viral posts are and
Yeah.
possibly go viral for
Yeah.
it. But like, is that me?
Right.
And like me and Noah have always just been obsessed with the art and the storytelling of it. Like what you said
Yeah.
from the beginning, it's just
Yeah.
like these brands want us to create these worlds with them and for them, and that's like what I've always been obsessed with. And this like these little viral things, it's like it could be actually easy to do if you really
Absolutely.
study it and
Yeah.
like do it. You could probably do it
Yeah.
and be viral, but like, is that your why?
Yeah, is that what you
And
actually want?
And
Yeah.
for me, like my why from the beginning, like if we really want to get deep on it for Instagram, like this platform has like slowly been like given to me and it's really nothing I'm doing. It's just me being myself.
Yeah.
And like I see that and value that, like that's just favor from the Lord. And so my why has always been for people. And so like
Yeah.
this platform is something that I can do the things that I love on, but it's also like my ministry.
Yeah.
Like it's people. And
Yeah.
so like how can I talk to people in DMs? How can I add value to other people? How can I educate? How can I share everything I've done the past 10 years, the questions that they have? How can I answer those for them?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like why I show up on there.
Yeah. which is really cool.
No, it is true like leadership in a lot of ways. And I think that's really cool because I think there's a lot of girls like you, and I've talked to a lot of girls like you who are like, I have an interest in fashion. I have an interest in modeling. I have an interest in all of these things that sometimes the world says is like superficial, you
Right,
know?
right.
And it's really cool how you're like, no, actually I can show up in all of these spaces as a content creator, an influencer, for modeling, whatever. And I can actually show up in these places and bring really good things to these places.
Yeah.
Like you talk in your captions, like if you guys don't follow Taylor, you really should. You are a wonderful writer.
Thank
and
you.
You share so much like vulnerability around hard times, hard
Yeah.
seasons, things like that, how to get through it with faith. Like
Right.
you share a lot of really great stuff in there.
Thank you.
And I think that it's really meaningful and you've brought a lot of meaning to a place that can sometimes feel really dark and sad and
Right.
like
Or
and very
just-
comparison oriented.
Very just shallow.
Yeah.
And can be shallow. And you've
Yeah.
brought a lot of depth into that. And you've also brought out the beauty of the artistic side of why you love it.
Yeah.
And I think that's like all of that stuff, fashion, lifestyle, everything. There's like a heart of authenticity and a heart of artisticness. That's not a word, but something really cool to bring out.
To kind of wrap up this section and then we'll move on. But like, I think from a longevity perspective too, not that this is why you're doing it, but it's very wise from a longevity perspective because the people that are aiming to just try and go viral, get as many followers as they can, but there's no depth to that audience. And like people aren't, you know, like how many people have you followed because you saw a really cool video and you're like, oh, I'm going to follow that person who's sick. You couldn't name who they were though. You'll never see that account again.
Totally.
You know? And you're like, I don't even remember who that person was. But you, on the other hand, are giving a ton of value. You're leading people. And there's going to be longevity to that. Whether you decide to jump into another career or subtly shift in how you show up online, or maybe you started a clothing brand for kids, like whatever it's going to be, 25 years from now, you know, you're not only learning the skills in order to be able to do that because you're creating depth, learning how to lead people, but you're also building an audience I think is going to stick with you in that, which is really important. So let's round this out. Not that we have to end soon, but I mean, this is a great conversation, but this might even be a huge topic because I think it's probably a big one, but becoming a mom. And working.
I need a drink for this one.
Becoming a mom and working.
Yeah.
My first question about this is, did you and Noah have fears about what work was going to look like once you guys decided to start down the journey of having kids? And obviously, Selah, beautiful little girl.
Totally.
What did that look like pre actually having Selah?
I was actually just talking to a friend yesterday in the hot tub about this exact thing because she's been married and she was like, I want to have kids, but I'm scared. Like, what was your fears? And like, everything's different. And I feel like our biggest fear was, I'm not telling the story because it's so long, but me and Noah met when we were 12. So we have been together through a lot of seasons and we're 31 now. And so we've grown up together. We've been dating for, years and years and years. We've been married for 9 years this March. And I think just all that time together and getting to know each other and that friendship, we were just worried of like what that would look like adding another person into the dynamic.
Yeah.
And it's
breaking the duo.
It is like that. And it's funny because it's like you get married and you have kids, like that's normal. But it's like, I don't know, for us, we were just together for so long that it's like, oh my gosh, the duo's a trio. Yeah. And it's like she's gonna have needs and like things and let's like, are we like, can we do that, you know? And so, I feel like for work, for me, obviously as a model, getting pregnant is not ideal for modeling, I would think. And so that was a fear for me, which hindsight, the Lord's so gracious because I had more jobs when I was pregnant than I did before.
Wow.
So cool.
So
awesome.
brands just saw that as an opportunity of
Absolutely.
someone we already know and love and trust. Let's put her in something that shows her belly. Like, let's use this as diversity. And that was so rad.
So cool.
And so, I feel like I was so confident pregnant because I was doing still what I loved the whole time. And all the way till, I'm not kidding, 39 weeks. I was filming campaigns, UGC for Quince at 39 weeks pregnant, which is crazy. And then after she came, I took a few months off and then I was like, okay, what is this going to look like? Noah shoots me. How does he hold the baby and shoot me? How is this practically going to look like? But we've honestly just managed it. Like, it was difficult for sure when she was little. But now she kind of just knows that like, that's what mom does.
This is life.
Like, I'm gonna work really quick. We're all at the beach as a family. She's with us. She's been with me on set, as you guys know, since the beginning. She comes to all my shoots. She's always in the background. And
she's so cute too.
It's so fun.
Just runs around.
She's so great.
Thank you.
So cute.
She's not here today because I wouldn't be able to do this quietly. It's not always like the best, but we make it work. And I feel like just the fear was that it would like, I don't know, just that we wouldn't be able to mesh that all together because it's a lot of hats. But we're doing it. It's just like, I think we're just still being us and we're taking care of her and we're still doing the things that we love. Noah gets to do music. And I think time blocking is a huge thing as a parent. Gotta do that.
Yeah. What does that look like for you guys?
So we recently got a skylight calendar. which if you don't know what that is, you should get one.
Is that one of the ones that goes on the wall?
Yeah,
Okay, I think I've gotten the ads for those.
It's that
Yes.
little guy.
the little screen.
Okay,
And
yes.
it connects to my phone and Noah's. So
cool.
Okay.
mine's like a certain color, his are a certain color. And so anything that's on the calendar just shows up on there.
Does that connect to like Google Calendar and other stuff? Okay, cool.
Yeah. So it's rad. And you can like do all sorts of stuff on it. Like
Cool.
anyways, they're not sponsoring this. So
Yeah.
You just casually sneak that in. Use code Taylor.
Thank you for that.
Use code Taylor.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I feel like just since having her, time blocking has been huge. So we'll like time block, okay, Mondays from like 9 to 12, I'll take her to the park, you focus on music, do whatever you need to do, come back, I'll put her down, and then when she's napping, I'll do all my admin for the week.
Yeah.
So just like having to be like intentional to where we're being able to be present with her, but also get our stuff done.
Yeah.
And so that's been like just a few years of just adjustment of like, when she was littler, I could just manage it all. I'm just holding her. She's attached to me.
Yes.
We're walking around. I'm doing emails on a walk. It's easy. Now that she's older, knows
Mobile.
when I'm on my phone.
Yes.
Ah.
Yes.
Which is like, I treat my phone as if I'm in trouble. Like if she's
Right.
looking at me and I'm on my phone, I'm like,
Yes.
Yeah.
I pretend like I'm in school. Like,
Yes.
you didn't see me working.
Right.
So like, I want to be present with her.
Yeah.
And so does Noah. And so I feel like just time blocking, and his office is in the garage, so he just disappears, gets his stuff done. Same with me upstairs. So that's been the best way of honestly being able to mesh it.
And that's great. And I feel like you can speak to that so truthfully, because it's not like you have family in the area that
Nope.
cares for her. You don't have like a super consistent childcare or anything like
She's
that,
never
right?
been
like
babysat.
she's never been
Yeah.
babysat.
It's
She
issue.
genuinely is with you all the time. And so
Yes.
you guys have really shown that it's possible to have a baby and be with that baby all the time and still be able to get what you want done.
We'll have great careers. Yeah.
And have great careers.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much time you have when you don't have kids that you don't realize.
Yeah.
Because I can get done everything that I used to get done in a week in 2 hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to steady state and I'm locking in.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like, I will get so much done. I'm like, I could have started so many businesses before.
Yeah, what was I doing?
What was I doing? With all that time?
Yes,
But it's so
totally.
funny. I think it just makes you value your yeses and your nos more.
Yeah.
And so like, whatever I say yes to, then like that's going to be a no somewhere else, and usually that's my family.
Yeah.
And so, or whatever I say no
Yeah.
to, that yes will be more important. And so
Right.
yeah, I
Right.
feel like just valuing that and like valuing my time has been
Cool.
what I've been learning as a mom. Definitely not perfect at it, still learning, but
Yeah. That's
But yeah.
awesome. Well, it's super inspiring. That's really,
Thank
really
you.
cool. I
Thank
love that.
you.
Yeah. I feel
great.
like so many people just have that thought, you know?
Yeah.
We've had that thought for
Yeah.
us too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just like, how was that going to shift it? You know?
yeah,
Because
and
it's
being
not like,
self-employed and both being home,
Right.
because that is so rare.
Yeah.
And especially out here, like I have so many friends who are influencers and their husbands shoot their content and they're both home together, and it's like that is such a rare thing to have
Yeah.
both parents in the home with with your child all day. And then how do we make it to where we're getting stuff done and we're not just like hanging out all day? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
So
for
you have
sure.
to, like, as you guys know, being self-employed, like make your own schedules and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, just like time blocking has been that for us. But being self-employed is rad, and having a kid, like it's not scary.
That's awesome.
It's honestly the best.
That's
love
so
it.
good. So
love it.
encouraging. I love
Yeah.
that. That's awesome. Well, Taylor, this has been so fun.
Yeah.
If people want to follow along, where can they find you? Where can they see your stuff?
Yeah, so it's at Taylor Nicole Hayden on Instagram. I don't really do TikTok anymore. And then I also have my website, which is taylornicolehayden.com, if you want to check out anything that I do and see all the hats I wear.
Yeah.
So you can click through.
Many hats.
Yeah, you
Amazing.
can click through and browse, but
That's awesome.
Yeah.
that's it.
So
great.
last question.
Yeah.
Why is it worth it? You're
Why
putting
is
in a
it
lot
worth
of
it? Mm-hmm.
work to be self-employed.
Yeah.
You and Noah are anything but, like regular run-of-the-mill, go get a
Cookie
9 to
cutter.
5 cookie cutter
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
I feel like when we first met you, you were obviously modeling and you were shooting content, but I think I was first introduced to Noah. He's like, yeah, I just like run this sick donut shop. and
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
like bougie donut shop, and it's
Yeah.
like, we've seen that version of him. He's in music now,
Yep.
like you guys do so
You guys
much
do a
stuff.
lot of risk-oriented
Yeah.
Yes.
moves.
You could have done 101 other things with your
Yeah.
life that would be a lot simpler, a lot potentially easier.
Yeah.
Why is it worth it to really go after building a business doing what you love? What's your wrap-up answer on that?
Wow, that's so hard.
Heavy question.
Yeah, it is. I feel like the best thing that I can describe it is like once we've like time blocked our work for the day and it's like 2 p.m. and we go get a coffee and then we just go to the beach for the afternoon, we are always just like sitting there looking at each other like we are so lucky and I can't believe this is our life.
Yeah.
And I feel like just being able to be so present in our marriage and with our daughter and in our relationships, and not having like those other things fighting for our time and us choosing where our time goes. I think that's like the biggest luxury in life is that. And like you said with the donut shop, like this, we can't forget about this whole time while I was modeling, doing all these things. Like I was grinding like 2 to 3 other jobs, teaching tumbling lessons, like doing, like, working at a donut shop, like from 5 a.m. to 11 and then get off and go shoot my campaign. Like I was making it work because I wasn't getting paid yet. So I know what it's like to do those gnarly kitchen jobs, those gnarly, hours in the night and stuff. But yeah, I think it's just, we're like so lucky and we are always just saying like, I can't believe that like everything has led to this.
Yeah.
And like, how can we help people? How can we get everyone to do this? Because this is the best life.
You just want it for everybody.
I want it for everybody.
Yeah, it's so cool.
So I'm like,
it's a great answer.
Yeah, I feel like just blessings.
That's awesome.
I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Well, that's a good answer because how can you help other people do this?
Yeah.
You just did. So thank you for being on the podcast. Because that's why Creative Rise exists, is to help other people achieve what you have gotten and what we've all gotten to experience. Because we all have those pinch me moments. It's like, working with those crazy brands. Or it's the moment sitting at like 2:00.
Yes.
Wherever you want to be. You got nowhere else you have to be. And you're like with your spouse or with your friends or by yourself. And you're like, this is crazy that this is life. Because of a decision I made.
And that Midwest,
to really focus on.
Midwest in me is like, is this okay?
Yeah. I know. Same
Am I
with me.
allowed to do this?
Should I get another job? Should I do something else?
100%. Well, Taylor.
Add one more thing to the list of things.
Don't.
No, you don't have to.
Well,
you did
thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Shout out to Noah for taking care of Selah
And
while
Selah.
you've gotten to do this. You guys are a team.
Yes.
You've been here, but he's part in making this happen as well. So shout out to Noah. He's also the man.
That's great.
So thanks for being on the show. We'll do a part 2 sometime.
Yeah, that'd be
Love
great.
it.
Another one. Another year or
Awesome.
something. We'll do it. We'll do another one.
Love it. Thanks for being here, Taylor.
Thanks, you.
Taylor.
Okay, well, that was such a fun episode with Taylor. She has just a wealth of knowledge and information, but then also I just love her authenticity on how to actually build your dream of what you want in your creative career to actual fruition by doing stuff that's just authentic to you, to what you love to do and what you've been maybe dreaming about doing for a long time, but haven't taken the leap yet, or maybe you have, and these tools, these systems, these skills that we talked about in this episode will help catapult you even farther down the road. That's why Creative Rise exists. That's why we have this podcast. That's why we fly down to SoCal and have these conversations with these creatives who are doing what they love every single day, is because it inspires and equips others to the exact same thing. Joey and I, for the past 6 years, have started Creative Rise in order to help people get paid to do what they love, to be able to pursue their passion of photography, to be able to pursue their passion as a content creator, as a social media manager, to be able to do what you love every single day and to equip you with the business skills to actually get there. Because I know, and you probably know, that artisticness, that creative side comes naturally, but the business side does not. We are not born with skills on how to be excelling at marketing, to be amazing at sales, to know what to say in a pitch deck or how to send things in a pitch. And that is something for the past 6 years that we have been helping creatives do every single year. Twice a year, we run something called the 6-week Creative Rise Mastermind. It is our favorite thing we do all year. We take about 35 creatives, and for 6 weeks, we focus on the 6 pillars that build a 6-figure business. So this is for photographers, filmmakers, social media managers, content creators, people who want to focus on the business side in order to build that 6-figure foundation. We don't talk about lighting. I don't talk about gear. You probably already have that stuff. You probably already have that knowledge. But the stuff that actually drives revenue in your business, consistent revenue in your business, comes from business systems, frameworks, and tools. And that is what we focus on for the entire 6 weeks. Joey and I lock arms with 35 creatives for those 6 weeks in order to build those 6 pillars. You can find them all on our website, creativerise.com. We focus on each one of those pillars every single week, and we work intimately with you and in this community so that you don't get left behind. It's not just like a course and you just watch it and you don't get to talk to anybody about it. We are in it with you, helping you implement. We've got weekly calls. We've got pod strategy accountability groups we put you in. We've got all the course content, all the tools, all the systems and frameworks to help you build that 6-figure business foundation. And again, it's all in 6 weeks. So as I said, we only do this twice a year. We only take around 35 creatives per time, and round 15 is coming, and we are so excited. So if you are interested at all in learning more about that, and then potentially applying for one of the coveted spots, we've got the waitlist already pumping. So waitlist applications go live February 25th. So make sure you get that in your calendar. February 25th, it's coming up super soon. That is when waitlist applications launch. And then we start the mastermind March 15th. And that will start the 6 weeks where we are locking arms again with 35 creatives to build 6-figure business foundations. We are so pumped for round 15. We know this group is going to be incredible already by the people on the wait list. So if you're a photographer, a filmmaker, or you are a social media manager, or you're a content creator, whether you're in the brand space or the wedding space, this is built for you. So if you want to join the wait list, go to creativerise.com. There's buttons everywhere. You can jump on in there. We're going to give you some free stuff, a free course that you can consume while you wait. And we cannot wait to see you there. So thanks again. Huge shout out to Taylor. Go give her a follow, shoot her a message, say thanks. And thanks for listening. And we will see you next week.